G'day Reefers, welcome to Gallery Aquatica TV. We're here today at Gallery Aquatica and we're going to talk to you about how to catch a bristleworm. Now you may be wondering, why remove bristleworms in the first place? Now, bristleworms are a polychaete worm that are often misunderstood as a popular form of cleanup crew. Here in Australia, the bristleworms we encounter are actually omnivores. They are not just detritivores, they are more likely to predate on coral tissue. Not only that, the teats, the bristles, when they are ejected, irritate coral tissue, which really damages some popular Australian corals such as acan, blastomusta, scolemia, cynarina, and therefore it is imperative to remove excessive populations when you can. So, for those of you that enjoy bristleworms, you can use these Bristleworm Resorts to simply feed your bristleworms with a smorgasbord of live seafood, and it's up to you at the end of the day, once they've had a beautiful, nice, calm feed in the darkness of the well, what you do with the excessive populations once you've obtained them. So let's take a look at the sizes of Bristleworm Resort. So there are 4 sizes of Bristleworm Resort on offer at Gallery Aquatica. Extra small, small, medium, and this stupendously sized industrial size, which is probably more appropriate for people with very large scale facilities such as our coral propagation room. So just taking a quick look inside, there are entrance holes and there's a little well here which is designed to allow for the bristleworms to enter and have to curl all the way around, with which to then access the bait. And that way it's actually very easy to enter the trap, but once they're in, the idea is that they remain at the resort for an extended period of time, allowing you to trap these populations and then you can remove them at your will. So other than the actual trap, the only other thing you need is some bait. Now, you have to trust me on this one. We've experimented with quite a number of different options of seafood with which to offer our bristleworms, and raw prawn, works a treat. The trick with the raw prawn is simply that the tissue doesn't deteriorate or degrade over long periods of time, and it's incredibly smelly, which attracts the bristleworms and also crabs and a few other bits and pieces as well. But what you do find, it's simply the worms that will enter the resort. So when choosing which size you're going to need, it's pretty simple. Extra small worms need an extra small trap. Large worms will need a large resort. So let's put these to the test. We'll go down to the prop room and lay the bait. I forgot. Ready? So we're at the prop room and it's time to put the bait in the resorts. So, like I mentioned, we've got some prawn here. Gonna peel them first. So we'll just start with pieces the size of the well so that we can lodge the bait in the area without it dislodging easily when it's underwater. It's that simple. Regarding placement of the resort, It's important to remember that these polychaete worms particularly enjoy being in dark, tight spaces. So it's likely that they are going to reside within your live rock and rock structures and or under corals. If you are uncertain as to where your bristleworm populations are, I would suggest to pop the resort a short distance away from the rockwork, just in case they're tricky enough to keep their posterior end within the rock safely and put their little face all the way through the maze and still enjoy the smorgasbord. So these are designed quite well with a little bubble trap. And so when you put them under the water, first you just need to release all the bubbles to make sure it will sink. Keep them within a particular distance from all your rockwork and you're done. I'm going to put the small trap in our anemone tank and see if there's any worms in that. Last one, which is our medium-sized Bristleworm Resort, I'm going to pop down here in this sump because rumor has it we've got quite a population here in the Chaetomorpha. Lovely. So let's not forget to load our giant industrial-sized Bristleworm Resort. Now this one is designed in mind with a larger volume of water and potentially giant worms in mind. We're going to use an entire prawn because of how big the bait area is. We've got this spacer bar here which is really helpful and handy to keep the bait in. Just hold it in like that. Lovely. And so we're going to come over here and pop it in the pond with the whale. Get all the air bubbles out. So one question we do get a lot about these resorts is how long do you leave it in for? That question is fairly variable, dependent on your population, how many you anticipate you have. If you don't think you have any, you could just put it in for overnight and check it in the morning and see how you go. But if you pick up a coral that's on the ground, and you have thousands of them, you may find your trap is full within an hour or two. So you're gonna have to stay up all night and get all these excessive populations out of your tank. Okay, now here's the defining moment. The extra small, oh, we've got some little ones in here. I can see there's also a big one. Whoa, this one's worked very well. Oh my gosh, some monsters in here. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, I'm so glad we've done this today. Oh, disgusting. Whoa. Now, you may want to wear gloves when removing your catch. I feel fairly confident simply using forceps. Oh, look at this. What a monster. Oh, I didn't mean to, but I cut him in half. He's so big, he's wrapped all the way around. We might have to just leave that upside down for a little bit while we check that last one. Ah, sorry. I'm not scared of bristleworms. I'm not scared of bristleworms. Oh, but gee, their sting, honestly, it packs such a punch. And I've often thought, if it hurts us, surely it's going to irritate corals and or any curious fish. So I guess what we can see here is that the resort has successfully accommodated for a range of polychaete sizes We're grateful to have been able to isolate these, to be able to remove them. So I guess all we've got left now is to check the big industrial size trap. And here's the big reveal. Look at that. There are some bristleworms in the whale pond after all. Oh, I wonder if there's any giant ones. Doesn't look like it, but still. Ew. Oh, yuck. Look at these. Oh, I'm certain the whale appreciates us removing these pests from his pond.
All right, ready when you are.
So whether or not you feel that bristleworms are friend or foe for your aquarium inhabitants, it's safe to say that these resorts are an efficient way to successfully remove excessive bristleworm populations from your reef system. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Gallery Aquatica TV. I'm Anya, and happy reefing!